Hello and welcome back. I'm Barbara O'Neill. Today we're diving into a fascinating and age-old approach to health, curing diseases with herbs. Herbs have been used for centuries to treat a wide range of ailments, and modern science is now beginning to uncover just how powerful they can be. As we age, our bodies face different challenges, and incorporating the right herbs into our daily routine can make a significant difference in our health. Did you know that some herbs have been shown to reduce inflammation, boost the immune system, and even lower the risk of chronic diseases? In this lecture, we'll dive into the world of medicinal herbs, exploring how they work, which ones are most effective, and how you can use them to support your health naturally. So stay tuned to learn how these natural remedies can play a vital role in your wellness journey.
So with UTI, cranberry. Now, how cranberry works is that it causes a slippery coating on the lining of the bladder, making it incredibly hard for any microbes to hold on to the wall of the bladder. That's basically how it works. So you put cranberry and golden seal together, you get a very nice mix for a urinary tract infection.
That's powdered cranberry.
Well, cranberry is incredibly bitter. So most cranberries that you buy, dried cranberries, they've got sugar in them. I went into Trader Joe's in the US once, which is a big health store, and I'm looking at all the cranberries. There was not one that did not have sugar in it. So you're almost best to buy the tablet. They're almost inedible. They're so bitter, so bitter. But if you can get dried cranberries without sugar, you can certainly do it. I have seen cranberries that have been dried with apple juice, so they're not so bitter.
You wouldn't know if the Swedish lingonberry could be used. It's similar to cranberry, but it's not the same.
Okay, so maybe that's an option. Yep. So looking at all the areas where you can use the golden seal, it's a remarkable herb. There's one other area we use it, and that is in a tea. We call it digestive tea. In fact, we affectionately call it dig tea at Misty Mountain. And we give this to every single one of our guests. We've had incredible results with the digestive tea. And it is 1 part dandelion, and it's 1 part licorice, 1 part gentian, that very bitter herb, and it is 1/2 part golden seal. So these are all roots, so they need to be boiled. But you'll buy the dried herbs and you mix it together in a jar. We cannot buy golden seal at the moment. It's very hard to get golden seal. So our office girl was able to find capsules, so we're opening the capsules. So the rule of thumb is, remember, 1 teaspoon of these dried herbs to 1 cup of water, and because they're roots, you've got a 10-minute simmer, and then you let it sit. And it's the sitting while it's hot, more of the properties are going into the water, yeah?
Is there a reason why peppermint is not included, or even fennel? Isn't that well known for digestion?
Yeah, they help. There's quite a few things that help with digestion, but we've just gone for the bitter roots. And the dose is 1/4 cup hot just before the meal. Dr. Kellogg said a great way to boost digestion is to have 1/4 cup of very hot water just before the meal. The hot water going into the stomach stimulates the release of the digestive juices.
To further elaborate on the use of herbal remedies for digestive health, it's important to understand why these specific herbs are chosen. Dandelion, licorice, gentian and golden seal all have unique properties that contribute to digestive wellness. Dandelion is known for its gentle detoxifying effects on the liver and its ability to stimulate appetite. Licorice root has soothing properties that can help reduce inflammation and irritation in the digestive tract. Gentian is particularly valued for its bitter compounds, which stimulate the production of digestive enzymes and bile, enhancing overall digestion. Golden seal, with its antimicrobial properties, can help combat infections and support gut health. When preparing the digestive tea, it's crucial to maintain proper ratios and brewing times to maximise the benefits. A 10-minute simmer ensures that the active compounds in the roots are adequately extracted. Additionally, allowing the tea to sit while hot helps in the complete infusion of the beneficial properties into the water. This tea can be consumed about 15 to 30 minutes before meals to support digestion. For those who may not prefer the taste of bitter herbs, combining them with a touch of honey or a splash of fresh lemon juice can make the tea more palatable without compromising its effectiveness.
So I was talking about ulcers. So we've had some stubborn ulcers. So this lady brought her mother, she was 80, had a really stubborn ulcer. So what you do is clean it out with hydrogen peroxide. Something else you can clean it out with is seawater. And to make seawater, a cup of Celtic salt to 1 teaspoon of seawater. So I notice you don't live near the sea.
Yeah, you mix it.
And if you... Pardon?
1 cup of water, I believe, too.
Yeah.
1 teaspoon of salt, Celtic salt, yep. And you can wash it with that, and then you put it in the sun. Do you know in the old days they used to wheel, this is Florence Nightingale, wheel the patients out onto the veranda and put their bed sores and their ulcers in the sun. Yeah. In the sun. The sun is a wonderful healer. So that was part of it. And then we would sprinkle a mix inside the ulcer of equal parts golden seal and cayenne pepper. Because one of the problems with an ulcer is that the blood supply is very poor to the area. And what does cayenne pepper do? Moves blood. And what's the blood? It's the life of the flesh. Within 1 week, it was just incredible, the response we saw. Most people, when you sprinkle the golden seal and cayenne pepper powder, they don't feel the cayenne, because that's one of the problems, you know, they don't have a blood supply, and the blood supply feeds the nerves. And little by little, we saw it shrink up. And we have seen many ulcers heal with that, and people, I've told them what to do, and they've got back to me and they've said, wow, this is remarkable. Now you can see why we're doing this. The cayenne peppers to bring the blood, and the blood's the healer, and the golden seal, king of tonics, and also strong antimicrobial. I was talking to a lady in Scotland last week who 10 years ago used to work in an aged care facility, and she told me they used to use maggots to clean up wounds. Have you heard that? No. She said we'd get the maggots in little containers, and she said you'd sprinkle it onto the wound, and they're like little threads, and you'd wrap it up and leave it 24 hours, and when you opened it up, she said they were all like fat grubs. And she said the wound was clean.
Maggots.
From the blowfly. What's your Swiss word for that? I don't know. Do you know blowflies?
No.
Do you know when you've got something dying, the blowflies will lay their maggots? Yeah, those little horrible crawly things.
Could it just be in a normal housefly?
No,
You can't use
no, it has to be a blowfly. The maggots come from the blowfly. Oh.
maggots.
And apparently they used to use it in the war. If they had wounds that wouldn't heal, they would let the blowfly lay the maggots. Anyway, this Scottish lady was telling me that's what they did.
She mentioned that using maggots was an effective method because they would consume dead tissue and bacteria, promoting faster healing. This technique, although unconventional, was based on the idea that maggots only feed on necrotic tissue, leaving healthy tissue unharmed. In modern medicine, this process is known as maggot debridement therapy, and it's used in certain cases to treat chronic wounds and ulcers that haven't responded to other treatments. Maggot therapy has a long history and is still employed today in specialised medical settings. The larvae used are sterile and are carefully monitored to ensure they only target damaged tissue. This method not only cleans the wound, but also stimulates the production of new tissue and enhances the wound's ability to heal. While it may seem unusual, it's a testament to how traditional practices can sometimes align with modern scientific approaches. It's interesting how different cultures and times have come up with various methods for treating wounds, showing the ingenuity and resourcefulness of medical practices throughout history.
Now I'd like to look at aloe vera. There are 3 herbs that contain a growth stimulant. One is slippery elm and one is aloe vera. Have you ever cut a leaf of aloe vera or cut the tip of a leaf? Have you noticed how quickly a skin grows? That's because it's got a growth stimulant in it. I call aloe vera God's skin cream. I used to use it if my babies had nappy rash. Just open the leaf and just slime it all over them. But where it's particularly helpful is for burns. And we've seen some remarkable responses with burns. So our maintenance man, Dave, and I know Casper knows Dave Bongi, Aboriginal man, he was burning off a whole lot of rubbish and trees, and it wasn't burning properly, so he got petrol. And the flames came up, got his face, got his arm, and real badly on the leg. So he didn't tell anyone, and he just went home and had a shower, and his brother came in and saw him sitting in the and so called one of the staff, and they quickly got aloe, and they opened the aloe and just sliced out the gel and put it here and there. And then they called me about an hour later because he was still in a lot of pain, and they said, we think that we need to take him to hospital. And when I heard that, I said, hang on, let's have a look. And what I did, and this is very important, is you don't take the aloe out of the leaf. So you must leave the leaf intact, because if you take the gel out, when it's time to change the dressing, the edges will have stuck. And one of the worst things you can do with burns is have something that's going to dry, and then you rip the skin even more. So what I did was I had a crowd, because they're all thinking we need to take him to hospital, and there was one area on his leg that I could tell had gone down the 3 layers of skin. It was down to the flesh. So what we did was we've got a lot of aloe vera at Misty Mountain. So we cut the leaf and we did like a jigsaw on his leg. Can you see like that? And so we had a few people, because it's so slimy, it's trying to move around. Now you cut off the spikes on the edge, so you just cut it down the middle and open it. And if you leave the skin intact, that will never dry out. That's a very important point. It will not dry out. So a lot of people have used it, but they've just taken the gel out, put it on, bandaged it up, but then they go to change the dressing, and then the edges dry out. So what we did was we put that, and I kept saying, Dave, it's okay. He's like this. So we did it all over his leg. We did it all up his arm. Bit hard to put it on his face, so we just rubbed it on his face. His face actually wasn't that bad, but of course it's painful. So we rubbed it on, and you just keep rubbing it on, and it'll make a little bit of a skin too. You can. Have you ever put aloe vera on your skin? Mm-hmm. It's slimy, but then it's probably only about 20 minutes. You got a skin on there, and then we asked God to bless it. We bandaged the whole thing on, and he smiled, and the pain level's gone. I think it was 10 out of 10 when I got to him. He was not good, but he was holding on. And it was down to about 8 out of 10 when I left. And this was probably 3 o'clock in the afternoon. I didn't hear anything, so I thought all is good. And he said it came to about 5, 4 out of 10 by the time he went to bed. And I said, don't move it. I said, I'll come and dress it again in 24 hours. So if you want a shower, put a glad, but remember he'd gone home and had a shower, so he just had a shower. There was probably no need for him to have another shower till another 24 hours. And when I went in the morning, he was just sitting in the chair smiling at me. What does that tell you? I said, what are your pain levels? He said, it's probably only 1 or 2 out of 10. That's incredible, isn't it? So what you've got to do with a burn, you've basically got to stop the air getting to it, because the air on it can be very painful.
With that case, it was only one compress of aloe vera?
No. We changed it. We changed it after 24 hours. We put a whole lot of more leaves on, and he could handle the dressing change. Sometimes the dressing change is very painful, but there was no sticking at all, and the aloe had kept it moist and slimy and beautiful. And we changed it. I think we only did that twice. So I saw him on the 3rd day, and he's coming to collect the compost bins. And his face looked really good. Now, he's got dark skin, and often with burns on the dark skin, you can really see the difference. And about the next day, I looked at his leg, and the blister had burst. And underneath the blister was new skin.
The healing process went well after that. Dave followed the advice to avoid moving the burned areas too much, which helped prevent further irritation. We continued applying fresh aloe vera gel, making sure to keep the leaf intact each time. Over the next few days, the new skin developed nicely and his pain significantly lessened. Aloe vera not only provided immediate relief, but also helped the wound heal faster by keeping it moist and protected. It's impressive to see how something so natural can make such a difference in recovery. Dave's experience with aloe vera shows how effective it can be for treating burns. It's a good reminder of how traditional remedies can still be valuable today. His positive outcome underscores the benefits of using aloe vera for first aid, proving that simple, natural treatments can offer significant relief and promote faster healing. This case was a clear example of how traditional knowledge, when applied correctly, can achieve excellent results in burn care.
But probably the number one herb for the heart is the hawthorn berry. So where I was in Manchester last week, there's just hedges and hedges of hawthorn berry. Where I was staying, there's lots of canals. Always, wherever I stay, I explore thoroughly the area on my morning walk every day. In Scotland, I think I'd surveyed most of the whole area just by my morning walk. So when I was in Manchester last week, there's lots of hedges that are hawthorn berry. Now, in the hawthorn berry, the active components that affect the heart are found in the leaf, in the berry, and in the bark. But most commonly, you buy the berry. You buy the dried berry. So when you make and this is what we do, we get the dried berry. We also have, see, a lot of hawthorn berries grown down the bottom of Australia. Remember, with Australia, the further down you go, the colder it gets. And I think, 150 years ago, they bought the hawthorn berry for hedges down in Victoria. So it does grow a lot down there. So we've got a friend that gathers a lot of berries and dries them for us. So this is 2 teaspoons. Remember I said the rule of thumb is 1 teaspoon to 1 cup of water? So with the hawthorn berry, you make it a little stronger, and then the person doesn't have to drink quite as much hawthorn berry tea. And we advise approximately 1 litre a day. What does the hawthorn berry do? The hawthorn berry regulates the heartbeat. So if someone has got heart arrhythmia, the hawthorn berry can help with that. We also make the hawthorn berry as a tincture. So to make it as a tincture, you make it very strong. And we find that it's very handy to have the tincture, especially when someone blood pressure is high because they're stressed out. Sipping on that hawthorn berry tincture has an effect. It's a very, very safe herb. You can even use it in conjunction if the person's still on blood pressure medication. Not a problem at all. There's no contraindications with the hawthorn berry. So with the tincture, and it's a berry. So do you pour boiling water on it or do you boil it, students?
boil it.
Yes, you do. Gentle simmer, 10 minutes. 10 minutes simmer. Because remember, the three things, what are the three things you simmer?
Roots,
The roots, the berries and the bark. The roots, the berries and the bark have to have a simmer. 10 minutes simmer.
Should you grind it to the berries?
We don't. You could. You could. You probably get it a little bit stronger then. But with the tincture, what I do is I do 2 cups of hawthorn berry and 3 cups of water. And I do a gentle simmer and I get an incredibly strong dark tea. And then I'll put it with equal amounts. Once it's cool, make sure it's cool, strain it, and then you put equal glycerin. And there's your tincture.
You don't ever use alcohol then? Like if it's
No.
burnt down or cooked so it's not so strong?
So that, and if you have it as a tincture, it's 1 teaspoon 3 times a day.
This should be, what do you say, same amount as the
Pardon?
I think the glycerin should that be the same amount as you have it.
Yep, yep,
So 50,
yep.
50.
So once you've strained that, you put in equal glycerin. The hawthorn berry equalises the heart rate. If the blood pressure's too high, it'll bring it down. If it's too low, it'll bring it up. Remember Psalm 104 verse 14, that God gave herbs for the service of man. You see what the herbs do? They work with the body. So a lady contacted me recently and she said, Barbara, I'm very worried about the hawthorn berry. She said, because I was on medication and she said, if I didn't take it, she said, I'd go really high. I'm just worried. And I said, you don't have to worry about the hawthorn berry because it works with your body.
Thanks for spending time with me today as we explored the power of herbs in curing diseases. I hope you feel inspired to incorporate some of these natural remedies into your daily routine to support your health. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing for more content on natural health and wellness. If you have any questions or want to share your own experiences with herbs, leave a comment below. I'd love to hear from you. Take care, stay healthy, and I'll see you in the next video.